Hey everyone, Noof Nukem here with my own personal assessment on why Xbox as a console is failing, but as a brand will continue to thrive. There's no denying the face of the video game landscape has and is changing right in front of our eyes. From cartridges to discs and now multiple ways to consume our games and entertainment in digital formats. Microsoft for far too long has watched multi-billion-dollar competitors such as Google, Apple, Facebook, and Amazon rake in the dough for being at the forefront of the industry tech and trends. In the cutthroat technology world, it often doesn't matter if you're the best, it matters if you are first, and Microsoft has been behind for far too long. Now, Microsoft themselves, they're a billion-dollar company, one of the largest in the world, and as a matter of fact, they built their brand through the universally adopted and renowned Windows operating system and a variety of other successful products. Now, while the Xbox is part of the Microsoft umbrella, it has never been their staple moneymaker. It was more like a successful attempt at taking market share of the video game pie from giant Sony and Nintendo. Now, while the original Xbox was a modest success, it was the Xbox 360 that really cemented Microsoft's stake into the unpredictable video game console market, selling nearly 90 million units in its run from 2005 till 2016. One of the Xbox 360's biggest reasons for success was beating its main competitor, the PlayStation 3, to the market by a year and coming in substantially less expensive because Microsoft, they chose to stick with the aging DVD technology while Sony ushered in the age of Blu-ray. Games-wise, both consoles had their fair share of amazing exclusives, but Microsoft's ace in the hole for a very long time was its thriving Xbox Live service and community. Both consoles went toe-to-toe and had very close sales numbers by the time both units were put out to pasture. But things were about to change big time for Microsoft, and not necessarily in a good way. Now, in an effort not to be taken by surprise and giving Sony a leg up with the PlayStation 4, Microsoft decided to launch the Xbox One just a few short weeks after Sony's console. Now, while this idea was sound, the technology inside the Xbox One was not. Having a weaker CPU and going with less expensive DDR3 RAM meant that many of the Xbox One games ran at a lower resolution and often frame rates than the competitor's third-party platform games. While this was a small problem, the larger problem overall was how Microsoft chose to market the Xbox One. It was designed to be the be-all, end-all of games and entertainment console that would end up being the hub of your living room for gamers, movie fans, sports fans, and social media addicts alike. It tried to be too many things to too many people, while Sony squarely took advantage of Microsoft's misstep to focus squarely on what mattered most: the games. It also didn't help that Microsoft bundled in the Kinect 2.0, adding an extra $100 onto the console price, and very few reasons as to why any gamer or Xbox fan should want to own one. Not to mention the whole always online message they sent out and no way to trade your games thing didn't help the overall image or perception Microsoft was hoping for. This huge blunder at launch not only caused the Xbox One to stagger out of the gate, but it caused a stir-up within the Xbox division, causing Microsoft to part ways with their president at the time of Interactive Gaming Division, Don Mattrick. With that change came a new face to the forefront by the name of Phil Spencer, who has spent the last few years trying to right the wrongs and restore faith of Xbox fans in the brand. But while Spencer has been a key to the resurgence of Xbox One sales, with the launch of both the budget-friendly Xbox One S and the super powerful Xbox One X, gamers have been patiently waiting for what the Xbox One needs most, and that is a AAA, story-focused, compelling games. More importantly, it needs great first-party games from its internal studios. While you give Microsoft full credit for trying with games like Quantum Break and ReCore, while these titles were good, they just didn't set critic scores or sales on fire. The closing of Lionhead Studios near the final stages of Fable Legends didn't help fix the outlook on Microsoft, as well as the fallout from canceling Scalebound, which was an ambitious Japanese action RPG designed by Platinum Games and to be published by Microsoft Studios. A great console is not only defined by the incredible games it plays, but by the exclusivity of the games that are found only on the platform itself. Microsoft has plenty of games in the pipeline from third-party developers, but their internal studio roadmap has been rather barren since the latter part of 2015. It kind of feels like we're in some sort of reverse stage of deja vu with Microsoft. The launch of Xbox One was marred due to the company's overambition of services to the fan base who expressly wanted more games and reasons to own the Xbox. Now, the Xbox One is severely trailing in sales behind the PlayStation 4, largely in part to its botched start and Microsoft's insistence that its biggest and best titles be played practically anywhere. Now, I believe this is largely what separates the Xbox One from the PlayStation 4. While you absolutely need a PlayStation 4 to play Sony's biggest, brightest, and newest exclusive games like Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, Gran Turismo Sport, or the new God of War, you don't need an Xbox One to play Gears of War 4, Forza 7, Sea of Thieves, or pretty much any first-party published title that's in the works, as they can be found on PC and through the Play Anywhere program. Heck, you don't even have to buy a physical copy of the game, as you can basically rent it for $10 via the new Game Pass program. Yes, options are good for gamers and consumers. The ability to play your favorite Microsoft-published games on practically any platform is offering freedom for the gamer and more ways to bring in revenue for Microsoft. Essentially, it's win-win scenario. But where does that leave the console itself? And that's a good question indeed. I feel it leaves the Xbox One or the future Xbox as just a mere option for people to play games on a TV that can't afford or wish not to tinker with PC setups. You hear that argument from PC and PlayStation 4 players all the time. Why do we need an Xbox to play the games when we can just get them on those other respective platforms? They do have a point, and are they right? Why do you need an Xbox? I think things like the Microsoft Store and Game Pass will slowly transition Xbox into a global brand as opposed to a dedicated games platform where you can only find Halo, Gears, Forza, etc. I can't say I blame Microsoft. They want to give players great games, but not confine you as to how, where you choose to consume them. Can you imagine if Netflix, for example, could only be used on a Samsung player or a smart TV? How much market penetration do you think Netflix would have gotten? But the fact that you could pay one monthly fee for Netflix and you could use it on a smartphone, a tablet, a TV, or even your Xbox One is absolute genius. This method gave moviegoers so many ways to consume the service. Now Netflix is an industry juggernaut, destroying retail outlets and making enough revenue to make their own movies and television content. Not bad for just $7.99 a month at launch. But where is Microsoft's new direction taking its loyal followers or fans? It depends on your point of view. Some are welcome to the change and are ushering it in, these new changes with open arms, while a small vocal minority like me cling to the past and are stubborn to part ways with the traditional way of gaming and are firmly planted in the console ecosystem. But say what you will, however, but the hardcore vocal minority still hold huge sway over the game industry, and that is who Sony has profiteered by catering to. They give you great online, lots of fantastic free games with PlayStation Plus, more console exclusive than Xbox, and it is the only, and I stress only, place to play their biggest hits, and Sony is taking full advantage. It is one of the reasons you see Xbox players buy a PlayStation 4 to play those exclusives. PlayStation 4 fans don't feel compelled to buy an Xbox One for a paltry lineup of games. They are most likely to play on a PC or perhaps at the rate it's going, they might be playing them on a tablet or a phone. Microsoft knows it cannot compete for the sales crown at this point, and that's why they drop the NPD numbers or sales numbers on games and instead deflect attention to user numbers to gauge its success. Numbers are important, like it or not. Not only do they make fans feel good about their purchase, they instill confidence in the developers that their user base is large enough to practically guarantee some sort of success on those high development budgets, and this usually means more games and more sequels. Now, Sony is winning the numbers game handedly, and they play it like an ace at the poker table. Going back to the fans or the Xbots or the corporate slaves, as many label us, we are not to be ignored, though, for our undying devotion to the console space. We are the ones who buy the consoles day one at full price. We are the ones who buy practically each and every game that comes out at release. We are the ones who promote the product and the brand day in and day out. We are the ones who live and breathe gaming and even take part in or create content like podcasts. We are the ones who push the brand forward, but we can also be the ones who can tear it to shreds. In an effort to be more relevant, to be first to the line, Microsoft is largely ignoring this segment of its fan base in order to be the be-all, end-all to everyone, everywhere. From its humble home console company to a global brand that no longer needs to be defined by or accessed by a plastic box full of teraflops and expensive graphics cards. Sure, I'm happy that Microsoft, are still thriving and pushing the industry forward in a variety of ways, but I'm also concerned that the Xbox has diluted its brand to the point of mass consumption. Sony doesn't have the luxury of having successful products like Microsoft does. We saw Sony fail with their PC and mobile phone divisions and are losing ground in the TV space. But what Sony is succeeding at is their gaming division, successful in North America, Europe, Asia, and practically all around the world. Difference is when you think of PlayStation, you don't think about all the new ways that you can play your games. You think about that awesome console connected to your TV and the games you will find only on PlayStation. This is what PlayStation 4 is and will continue to dominate the market. This is why the PlayStation 5 will be, in my opinion, a dominant force in the market to come. Now, while the last year or so have saw both companies tinker with the idea of more console power, the real power has and always will be in the hands of the players. Now, guys, this is just all my opinion. I have always been an Xbox fan and will continue to be so as long as Xbox makes a home console that I can play my favorite games on. But let's face it, we don't need an Xbox. Xbox needs us.